Do it.
Captain Joe, I've known you a long time now, and you had the Muff diver. You're famous for that. We won't go into all the reasons why, but how long have you been boating?
Jeff, I've been living in Annapolis all my life. Probably been boating since 16 years old in that neighborhood. Ski boats, that sort of thing, rowboats, crabbers. Got into the bigger boats that we're going to talk about today. In 1980, I bought a Topaz, a 20-foot Topaz. You were working there at the time, I believe, and that was my first ocean-going boat. And moved on to a 42-foot ocean yacht, and then moved on to a 46, where you and I came in contact.
That's right. My brother was doing work on your 46, and I told you I had an idea, and we were going to talk about that.
We did. Your brother Rick was totally gutting the boat, and we needed new curtains. If you recall, had the old plastic ones used to have to roll up, and at that time you were working on a new product, easy to see. Well, you called it Clearview back in that day, but it ended up being easy to see why. And you made me an offer I couldn't refuse to test it, and it was the best opportunity I believe I'd ever had. It was a hell of a value, and those curtains lasted me from 1989 to last year, 2012, when one finally cracked, and I asked you to replace it, and you decided that you wanted me to test out a new product, Cool2Sea, which I really appreciate that.
Well, how did that green panel look on the rest of your pink boat?
Well, Jeff, with the easy to see why panels all over the boat except for that one green one, it kind of looked goofy. But, you know, you wanted me to test it for night vision and just overall what I thought of it compared to the easy to see why. And I was anxious to test it because at night when you come in Ocean City, there's a lot of lights on the beach, and you know, it gets blurry. And the Cool2Sea knocked that blur down. I mean, it was very distinct lights. The most important thing for us is how cool it is. I mean, you said that, and you know, all salesmen say a certain amount of things, but customers would get up on the bridge and they would sit on the starboard side, which did not have the Cool2Sea. They'd sit on that car's starboard side, and the sun would come down on them, and they'd move over to the port side where I had that one panel of Cool2Sea, and after a while, they just never bothered to go to the starboard side again. They just strictly went to the Cool2Sea side because it was so cool. And then, you know, once we noticed that, one of my mates, Ryan, came up, sat down on the Cool2Sea side where the Cool2Sea was here and the front curtain was here, and he had arms laid out on each side. Well, his left arm got sunburned and his right arm did not. And so we got to talking about it, and the customer's response to the Cool2Sea, and ended up calling you, as you know, and said, what kind of deal can we do to enclose the whole bridge? And we worked something out, we did it, and it really has been a talk of the White Marlin Marina. A lot of the guys have looked at it, gotten up there, sat down, felt the difference. So I know you've gotten a job or two out of Ocean City because of it, and it's, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't even blink an eye to put that on. I mean, not only did like the easy to see why it lasted me what? From 89 to 2012, that's 99, I mean that's over 20 years.
Now we did have to replace zippers.
Oh yeah, the zippers, but that's probably owner-operator error.
Well, zippers only last so long, and that's was our weakest link, so we're always working on things to make it better. But
well, that was the only thing. The curtain, everything about the easy to see why, the white part, I don't know what you call it, the canvas part, that held up fine. But the zippers didn't do so well. But that, like I say, maybe it's the zippers. I didn't lubricate them with the stuff that you gave me to lubricate them because when you're fishing day in and day out, you know, there's just only so much maintenance you want to fool with. So I did end up replacing the zippers probably twice, maybe 3 times during that period.
Well, you told me you had replaced motors that many times during that period,
Unfortunately, the motor I was doing, yeah, that's right. And that's why I no longer have that particular motor in my boat anymore. That came with it. I went to a 4-stroke lugger, and it's been a wonderful engine. It's 7,000 hours later, and still pumping right along.
Well, good for you.
That's right. Good for my pocketbook.
Good for your pocketbook. Listen, you had, our problem has been we show the people this panel, and when you look at it from the dock, it really can look green because you look through several panels of it, but when you get on board the boat and up on the bridge, it's a different look, isn't it? It doesn't look
you don't
as dark as
green.
It would be from the outside.
You don't. I mean, it's very clear. I mean, I can see everything that I can see with the clear stuff, but I don't have the heat. I mean, it's just. Jeff, I don't even put up the curtains anymore. I mean, I used to. I don't know why. I used to put the curtains up. Well, sometimes I like to have the breeze.
Right.
But if it's blowing or choppy or nasty, sometimes we fish in the wintertime, I don't worry about putting the curtains up because I can see so clearly without it. But during the summertime, in August, when we don't have a lot of wind sometimes, I put the middle panel up. But it's not because I can't see. It's only because I want the ventilation. And you put a new ventilation panel up at the top of the new one.
The vent,
so, it keeps circulating air.
Now, we talked about night vision and being able to see the markers and things, but we didn't touch on the oil slicks on the water that you're obviously looking for the fish, and you obviously do a good job from your reputation, we've heard.
Well, I got a horseshoe implanted in my body somewhere, but yeah, it doesn't affect it at all. I can see, like I say, with a green, I can see as easy as I can with the clear. It's so obvious. I mean, that oil slick is the oil slick. I can see fish. There's absolutely no detriment to me as far as I'm concerned. It's a plus. I wouldn't put a clear one back on the boat at all. And people say, that green's going to look goofy. Well, I got a pink boat, as you know, with a green bottom, and now I got the green, easy to see, clear to see.
Cool to see.
Cool to see. Clear. Okay, it's cool and clear to see. And I don't think it looks goofy.
I think you're doing a good job down there. And you've already touched on the night vision. Now, from your past experience, how long do you think your Cool2Sea will last?
Oh, well, easy to see why it lasted, 22 years or so. I mean, as long as you take care of them, and we do this, we wax them so that, the water just kind of rolls off of it. And I learned my lesson with that one crack, easy to see why, because we left them on when there was a storm coming on. So we've instigated a policy now. When we got storms coming, hurricanes, whatever, I don't just open the zipper. I take them all the way down.
Well, that was your outrigger got away, right? And flipped on there and broke it, you think?
Something did, yeah. It cracked it right on the edge. Somebody fell into it, whatever.
Right.
But it cracked. It was the only one that's ever cracked.
Okay. Well, I think we touched on about everything, Joe, and I appreciate you coming in and doing this and trying to let the public know what's going on and what's new in the world. And
Jeff, I have got to tell you, we've been friends for a long time. I'm not saying this just because we're friends. And I've been testing your stuff and other people's stuff. That if I had another boat, it would have to have the Cool2Sea. I think people are doing themselves a disservice if they don't at least give you a shot. Take a look at your product, and it speaks for itself. If they put it on their boat, I think they'll understand the heat reduction on the bridge and the clarity, night vision. A
lot of the things that you forget about when you're up there and being comfortable and cool is UV protection. With 98%, I don't know how many of your customers are on any kind of heart medications or antibiotics or anything, but it helps in all of those aspects too. And oftentimes that's hard for us to keep in the mind of people because they don't realize how much. Although your mate did when he got his arm sunburned.
Yeah, but I did not know that, and I do have a heart condition. I had a stent put in some time ago, and I'm okay, but I didn't know that.
Well, it'll help with a lot of your medications for that, and melanoma as well as cataracts and macular degeneration. It's a big deal. And
will it make me younger? Will it make me younger and better looking?
Certainly.
Well, I can't say enough for your product, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
I really think people owe it to themselves, boat owners, especially the bigger boat owners that have a lot of exposure, to give give us a good look at. You know, another thing we don't touch about, because we're all sports fishermen, is the big boats that have that aft cabin where the curtain goes around.
Right.
I mean to tell you, they really ought to take a look at this.
You can sit on your aft deck and be cool drinking that martini.
Indeed so. Indeed so. I mean, I never just now looking at your poster there, I just got to thinking about it because we live on the Chesapeake Bay and there are quite a few of those kind of boats that run around here. Rather than sitting back there suffering and sweating, drinking martinis, you can be cool.
That's right. Well, thank you, Joe, for coming in.
You're welcome,
I appreciate
Jeff.
it.
It's always a pleasure.